everyone, it's Saturday. Time for another episode of Beyond Garnet. Let's get creative.
May be too intense for some listeners, may be unsuitable for sensitive people, may cause dizziness, may cause drowsiness, may cause excitability. Safety goggles may be required for listening. Take with food, avoid contact with skin, avoid extreme temperatures, and store in a cool, dry place. This is not legal advice, must be present to win. Contents under pressure may contain small parts. Listen at your own risk.
Hey, happy Saturday, everyone. I have a super special guest on the show for you today. You will know him from films like Eddie and the Cruisers 1 and 2, Streets of Fire, Hope Floats, The Philadelphia Experiment, Bone Tomahawk, and Big Kill. The fantastic Mr. Michael Pare. Hey, Michael, thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure, Lana. I missed talking to you, actually.
I know, I miss talking to you too. I have some really great questions here that I think a lot of actors, up-and-coming actors, are going to want to hear your input on. So I'm pretty excited to dive into this. But I want to start out with one question. You're an East Coast guy, right? You live on the West Coast. What were you like as a kid growing up in New York?
Well, I came from a big family. There were 10 of us, 4 boys and 6 girls. I guess, coming from a big family, there's a certain amount of individual security you have because it's like your gang. I slept, there were 4 of us in one bedroom, so I was never, I don't know, it just made me kind of a leader in my class. And it wasn't like a good kind of unstable. There were days I was a bully, and there were days where I was getting bullied by the older kids once my brothers graduated from grammar school, or middle school, I guess they call it now.
Yeah.
So I was very interested in history and literature. I loved reading Hemingway. Mice and Men I liked a lot when I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I like to read. My father was a printer, so reading was a part of our family. Everybody was sitting around and reading. My brother became a doctor of English literature from Columbia University. My sister is a doctor of English literature from Duquesne.
Wow.
Academics are in my family.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Did you have a defining moment where you went, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to be an actor? Was there a moment that you recall?
When I went to my first acting class, it was funny because I was a cook in New York. I went to cooking school, and that was going to be my career.
Right.
As a cook, most of the waitresses want to be actresses in New York, or singers or dancers. They're all aspiring show business people.
Sure.
And they wouldn't talk to a cook. I was a cook. But when I went to my first acting class, all of those girls who were, wanted to be actresses or dancers or singers, saw me as an actor, and when they saw me work, suddenly they would, I could have a conversation with them. Suddenly I became acceptable and interesting, and it didn't matter if you were broke because you were an actor, and if you did good work in class, it made you really interesting, right?
Right, yeah.
So after I did the first thing I did in class was from Streetcar Named Desire. I was 21. Suddenly, our 3 girls thought I was interesting, even though I was just a cook. So that was like, wow, this is the big equalizer. Talent attracted pretty girls.
Yeah.
but I knew, I had a career when I did Eddie and the Cruisers. That's where I knew I had a career. That was a defining moment.
Oh, wow.
Tom Berenger was the star. When I got applause when we shot the first song, and it was really my first scene in the movie, and the director threatened that he would fire me if I didn't do a great job, and then I did a fantastic job. And it was like, okay, I've got a career doing this. But up until then, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. I was willing to go back to New York and go back to the restaurant business if I didn't make it. I came out The Greatest American Hero. I shot a season on the hiatus line. After the first year, I got Eddie and the Cruisers. We shot that over the hiatus.
Yeah.
It didn't come out until after we shot the second season. And even on the second season of Greatest American Hero, I was like, this might not last. Because I didn't have a big part. I had, a couple of lines every episode. So it wasn't really a career yet, even though I was on TV every Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Right.
It wasn't like a role where, I could shine. I was just a color of Bill Cat's character, actually. So, but when Eddie broke out, it was like, okay, that was the defining moment. I'm going to be able to do this for the rest of my life.
People still talk about that film.
There were a lot of very serious people involved.
Yeah.
There was Kenny Vance, there was Southside Johnny, there was Joe Brooks, Marty Davidson, the Scotty brothers ended up making the record. They were all very serious music people, and a lot of them say the most important scene was that one on the roof where Tom Berenger is playing Dark Side as a ballad, and I show them how to do it as a rock and roll song, and they say that's how it happened. That's where it got kind of a respectable reception by people in the music business, not just movie people.
Yeah, I remember that scene vividly. Yeah, it's a great movie. I love it. What do you think is I know how I feel about this. The importance of training for actors. I really want to hear your answer to this because here in the Midwest in Cincinnati, we struggle with actors who will actually take the time to train or learn different methods of acting, but I think it's imperative.
I do too. When I'm not working, if I have like tomorrow, I'm going to the acting studio.
Oh, nice.
And I go twice a week when I'm not working, and if I have long enough time, I'll put a scene up.
Yeah.
I continue to train. I think it's kind of like martial arts or going to the gym. You have to stay in shape, and if you don't actually act for a long time, you're rusty. You're out of shape, and you're emotional, and you're psychological. You lose your edge because you're not used to doing it.
Right.
I continue. I've been training, and I haven't stopped in 40 years.
Yeah.
I guess there's time I was training in New York. It's like 42 years I keep going to class.
Yeah.
And often, the light comes on. The light still comes on. I have an epiphany. That's the exciting thing. Like a musician can sit in a room and play the guitar or the piano, and a painter can sit in the garret and paint on a canvas. But an actor has to get up and act. And if you're not getting paid to do it, you have to do it in class.
Right.
You have to get up and you have to work a scene. You have to study a script, make your choices, find your objects, find your obstacles, relate to the other actor, respond. This is really important to stay in shape. Like I say, I do it as much as I can because that's what I am. I'm an actor, therefore I must act.
Yes. And there are so many outlets now for people to train. There's just no reason for an actor to not be training. Go to the library and get a book. Go, print a monologue off. Get together with other actors and read scenes together. You can always find a way to train, even if you're monetarily challenged or geographically challenged. There are ways to train as an actor.
Well, a popular way, like when I was living in Europe, I couldn't go to class obviously over there. I was working on 2 or 3 movies a year. But when I was just hanging around at home, I was picking up books of poetry.
Yeah.
Because you can study a poem just like you do a scene. And you can speak it out loud. Even though you're by yourself, you're still exercising that muscle. But there's nothing beats getting up in front of a group of people and performing a scene.
Sure.
It's very helpful to get that objective voice because if you're working by yourself with just a bunch of friends, you start to watch yourself.
Yeah.
If you have that objective person, the teacher or the class, then it's much better because then you can just go with it. And when it's over, for me, when I'm doing a scene, it's over before I realize it. That's how I know I'm going from moment to moment. It's not like I got to get through this.
Yeah.
It's coming up. It all kind of flows, and it seems like if you have a 5 or 6 page scene, it's like, oh my God, that's like 6 minutes of stuff. But when I'm on top of it and the scene is flowing, it just happens in a few heartbeats.
What do you think is the most challenging aspect of being an actor?
Perseverance. There's so many reasons to quit. You have to take a job on the side and you start making enough money where suddenly you get married or you become a parent or, it's like, what's the use? It's so easy to give up because there's so few people that are telling you you're doing good, which is another reason to go to class.
Right.
Because they're reaffirming that you have it. You did great work. And hearing that from a teacher, a coach, or, your peers that you respect, that's what will keep you going. So you work out you train and you get reassurance that you're doing a good thing.
I see on social media, I see actors post quite often. I'm really getting frustrated. I'm wondering if I should just stop. I've been turned down for the last 23 roles that I auditioned for. And that's a very common thing. So I totally agree that that's definitely a good place for training, is to keep that encouragement going so someone doesn't give up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so easy to quit because it's a thankless job if you're not working. In order to get that feeling like I am an actor, you have to perform.
Right.
You have to get up there and, even if it's, I don't know, they have these food, what do they call, co-ops?
Yeah.
Where everything is cheaper. If I was in Ohio or Indiana or someplace where you couldn't find a lot of acting classes, I would form some kind of acting co-op. Where everybody kicks in, $20 a month, and you could pay the rent on a space where you could create a class.
Absolutely.
At the studio, there's a moderator who just regulates who gets to voice their critique. It's not like there's one main teacher. They always talk about who starts was, but there's a lot of people who were teaching the method.
Yeah.
Back in the 30s and 40s. So it's not just Lee Strasberg. There's the method. There's the system. There's the technique. There's all that stuff. So if I was in Ohio in like Columbus, and there was no acting class, and I wasn't in college, I don't like college acting classes anyway.
Yeah.
I would form an actors co-op.
Right.
Just to keep that, getting on stage and doing a scene. And it's not being like the stage is a holy place, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
Doing the play. A friend of mine, he's been an actor all his life, and he's had a couple of little parts, and he's done a couple of little plays, but he just got an off-Broadway play in New York. He's 67 years old.
Wow.
But it's a big, respectable play. It's a British company that came to New York, and he auditioned on tape, and they got it. And he got it. They flew him out to New York. He's staying at his brother's place, but and now he's doing a very respectable play with an all-British cast. He's doing 3 different British accents.
Oh, wow.
If he didn't continue to train and do these little thankless plays, then he wouldn't even have been aware of this opportunity. And he's in heaven now.
Right.
He's not making a lot of money, but he's an actor. This is proof that it was smart for him not to give up.
Right. Absolutely. I studied for quite a few years with Silvana Gallardo. She lived out in LA for a long time and then moved to Paris, Kentucky. And I studied, I studied acting with her until she passed away. I think I was roughly right around 40. So it's been about 8 years since she passed. But I wasn't acting. I was studying with her as an actor to help me better myself as a director.
Well, that must be why I enjoyed working with you so much, because your direction wasn't technical. It was kind of from the heart, and I could feel your empathy and sympathy in the scenes that I was doing.
Oh, thank you. That's a huge compliment. I appreciate that. Are there any characters that you've portrayed you think have a lot in common with you as Michael personally?
I can relate to every part I play, because I really love the characters I play, whether they're the protagonist or antagonist or supporting role. Like I said, with Billy Katz, I was the color of his character, and I was really happy to be a part of that story. Like this one that I just did in Dallas, I played the mob bosses like in Fortune. I described him, because I was there. It said something about him, and not about him personally, about that antagonist. So all of it is, I relate to all my characters. I think you have to. Even De Niro said, you have to, don't judge them. You have to look at your characters with compassion. And, I don't want to get metaphysical, but everybody plays a part in their life. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge. I mean, I know a lot of wise guys, and I know a lot of, thinking people.
Right.
And it takes all kinds to make the world go round, right?
That is a fact, yes. Now, who is someone who has inspired you?
Well, I worked with a lot of big old actors. Bruce Dern and Roy Scheider and Rod Steiger, Malcolm McDowell and Dennis Hopper. All of those guys inspired me because they've been doing a lot longer than me.
Right.
But Bruce Dern, he was really an inspiration because I was a little bit intimidated by him because I heard he was, difficult and impatient and he didn't put up with a lot of bullshit. He didn't want to hear whining, he didn't want to hear complaining, but he would, so it was like he was allowed to bitch and moan about things that he sympathized with.
Right.
He didn't want to hear about your personal problems, but if it was taking too long to get to location, or if the cameras, didn't have all their equipment because the truck broke down, or if they lost the crew because they walked because of the overtime, these kind of things, whatever impeded the production, you were allowed to complain about.
Right.
And he was Bruce Dern. And we got to be kind of tight because we had a bunch of scenes. With Rod Steiger, I was an extra in a movie we did called The Chosen with Robbie Benson.
Yeah.
And, the teacher I had in New York was affiliated with a production company, so he would get, a lot of the people from class, extra work.
Yeah.
Only when there was, crowd scenes. So I was in a crowd scene with Rod Steiger when I was, 20, 21, like that. And then here I am in California, and I'm playing Rod Steiger's son.
That's great.
So it was like, and I told him all about the movie, and character, and I could discuss it, even though I only saw the movie. I didn't get to read the script.
Right.
But I went from an extra in a Rod Steiger movie to playing his son, and, I had second billing.
That's
So
fantastic.
that was really cool, and he gave me gifts, because we had 5 scenes about the reuniting of father and son after 20 years.
Sure.
So, to get a little pat on the back from him meant a lot.
I can imagine.
Dennis Hopper, they say, some people think he was a genius and all that other stuff, and he was a great guy, but also very impatient with, technical problems and production problems, but he loved just hanging on the set and talking about the stuff and goofing around, and but he was also very sharp when that camera came on. They portray him as this wild, scattered mind, but when the camera came on, he was Dennis Hopper. Anyway, there were a lot. I'm doing it too long to say that there was any one moment.
Sure.
Because everyone built upon the last. I don't know what would have happened to me if I didn't get this career. I don't know. I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday that if I hadn't gotten lucky with this, I would have went into the restaurant business. Maybe I would have got a restaurant, but I would have been divorced and left kids all over the place. Who knows? But, now I've been married 27 years, and my son's 26, and I'm married to his mom, and my career has been a blessing.
That is something to applaud in Hollywood. A long marriage.
But I think it comes from being a serious actor. You make it. A lot of people get divorced, and it's not a problem. But
Sure.
I don't know. I feel really fortunate.
Now, who is someone you haven't worked with yet that you would like to work with in the future?
I would love to work with De Niro or Pacino, or Robert Duvall, one of those giants. Also, I'd like to work with the biggest stars out there now, of course. Christian Bale, I just love everything he does. And they say he's a maniac and they've written bad stuff about him, but man, when he's on camera, he's more human than genuine people are. I mean, his characters are more deep and rich and full, and he just doesn't seem like he's acting. He's just I just saw that Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
And he's just amazing, Give me a fist pump deal, would you? And it doesn't sound like bullshit. He's like, that's what they really want. Fist pump? I never heard that before. But it flowed out of his mouth like it was the most natural phrase in the world.
Yeah.
He just really, impressed me. And the scene with his son, that was, I don't know, I didn't read the script, but the scene with his son, where he's sitting on his back and he's explaining why he does what he does, that was so clever that a father would reveal himself to his son.
Yeah.
But not to a contemporary or anybody else. Because you do that. you want your child to understand your decisions and your choices and why you must do certain things. And that's just, and again, he was talking to something. And it wasn't a big dramatic thing. They ran it, and I don't even think I think it was just a two-shot.
Wow.
It was just like, wow. It was like, wow. I mean, it was, the scene's over, and then you realize what just happened. It's like, that was brilliant. So the cinematography, the direction, the dialogue, and the performance, it was all like, wow. He should have got nominated for Best Actor for that scene. But, that was, Parasite. I went to see that with my son, and I thought it was great. Funny and exciting, and the action stuff at the end was great. But that performance by Christian Bale was just amazing. And it was so simple. Just two people. That's the scene you would do in class.
Okay.
And you had it right. If you get that scene right, it's going to be a thrill for any actor. That's another reason to go to class and work on great plays.
Yes.
Because if it's not working, it's not the play. That means you don't have it yet.
Right. Yes.
When you do a new movie and a new screenplay and everything's new, you don't know. There's that joke where the less talented actor is trying to do Shakespeare in New York, and the audience boos, and he walks to the apron and he says, "Hey, listen, I didn't write this shit."
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yes.
why you want to do great plays. So if it's not working, it's you. It's not the fucking right.
Is there a disappointment you faced that still sticks with you?
Yeah. Oliver Stone wanted me to do El Salvador and Platoon, and my manager and agent and girlfriend all said Oliver was a madman, you can't go, and they just badgered me. And Oliver and I were hanging around in New York and LA getting ready, and they just beat me down, and so I had to phone Oliver and say I couldn't go to El Salvador. I couldn't do the one in Mexico. And he never spoke to me. I went over to his house to ask if I could still do Platoon, and he said no, he really didn't want anything to do with me ever again.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was the Tom Berenger role, and it was the John Savage role in El Salvador. I went as far as getting the prosthetic for the tracheotomy. I mean, I was on my way. I was going out with the LA Times photographer, David Ketterling. I mean, I was doing all my preparation, but every day, my manager, my agent, and my girlfriend were like, no, however, you'll die if you go to Mexico with him. He's crazy, and I just didn't fucking stand up for them. I was only 25, and I just wanted them to leave me alone. And it was before Oliver broke out. I mean, he'd already gotten an Academy Award as a writer.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. They just would not stop. And it wasn't like these were nobody. It was William Morris. It was Celtic's partner. These were brilliant people, but, they didn't see what the actors saw reading Oliver's scripts. That was the biggest regret of my career.
Having faced that, you probably take a tighter rein now on making the decisions for yourself, I'm sure, regarding what projects you accept or decline.
Well, at that time I was pretty hot, and the big guys were calling.
Yeah.
Whatever I think is one that has a shot. Like this picture I did in Dallas is because of the producer, Dallas Sonnier, kind of discovered Craig Joller. And, I had a small part in Bone Tomahawk, and he wrote the Puppet Master. Miller is like his guy. And, I did 4 movies for the producer, so maybe he'll give me a good part in the next Craig Joller movie.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen that way. I have to break out, and it's like I have to break out again. I'm a working actor now. I feel like a boxer who's on the undercard.
Yeah.
And I'll keep getting fights, and I'll keep working. But a shot at the big, I'm going to need another miracle.
Now, do you have any hobbies?
Well, I used to surf. I had a condominium on the beach, and I would go out 3 or 4 days a week. But going to class when I'm not working is kind of all-consuming, and I got to train at the gym, and I got my son.
Right.
Who I we have a great time together. We go to movies, we hang around, we smoke cigars 2 days ago, and just talked about kind of like that scene with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Because he's 26, and when I was 26, I was already divorced once.
Yeah.
I was in show business for 5 years, and we have completely different lives, so we have a lot to share. But like I said, I got a son. I go to class. I go to the gym. That's about it. I haven't surfed in a while. My board is still in my garage, and I'll probably go over here one of these days. I'm only 8 minutes from a really great surfing beach in
Yeah.
Ventura.
Yeah.
I used to just take my board out of the closet and walk down the stairs to the ocean. Now I have to put it in the back of the truck and all this other crap.
Yeah.
It becomes a whole day instead of a couple hours.
Right. Now, do you still cook a lot?
I just made sausage and escargot bean soup. I made a gallon of it last night. I'll freeze a couple quarts for my son, and I'll have some when my wife comes home. I cook all the time.
Oh, nice.
I love it. I guess that's a hobby, but I just do it so often. It's I enjoy it a lot.
What's your specialty? Do you have a specialty?
Well, I can't say my specialty really. I like Italian. I like French. But I'm trying to work on the rice dish of every country. I've been working on my paella a lot.
Yeah.
And toasting the saffron is very important. You got to toast it, not burn it, and you have to be careful toasting it. So my paella is the thing that I perfected recently. I used to make a lot of great risottos, but I do French stuff. I cook sauté, degreased, deglazed, and cream and butter, and it depends on the mood and what's good.
Yeah. Now, what is you've probably filmed in so many different locations. Do you have a favorite location to film? Or do you doesn't matter, you just love to be on set?
There's no place I'd rather be than on a movie TV set.
Yeah.
I'm looking for exotic locations. I'm going to go to Malaysia and Thailand in June. Hopefully the corona thing will be settled down by then.
Yeah.
But even if it isn't, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
A lot of, like the movie I did in China, a lot of the Chinese people are hiding out in Thailand right now until the corona thing is settled in mainland China. So it can't be too dangerous.
Sure.
But, I'd like to work in India. Because, they're all the same. All the stories are pretty much, the human experience is pretty much the same. It's just a matter of who the characters are and the culture that, the stories are happening in and the locations. I'd like to go to India. I'd like to work in India, not in Bombay, but where all those, there are millions of ancient temples in India.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff fascinates me.
Yeah. Now, when you go places like that, do you have time to sort of sightsee if you've never been there before? Do you get to go and... I'm sure you have a day off and things like that, but...
Yeah. And if I do, I go see something really cool. When I was in Indonesia, I got to go down to Bali for a week, and I got to go into northern Indonesia and see Yogyakarta in Borobudur. And that stuff is just fascinating to think that they don't know how old it was. It was probably pre-Ice Age.
That's amazing.
Yeah, right?
That's
yeah. That's just, you don't realize how long people have been on this planet. And I'm involved in a sci-fi series right now, and I keep telling the writer that the human experience hasn't changed. Technology has,
right,
but the human being hasn't changed. So we tell the same story in a new environment, but it's really all about communication and heartbreak, or success.
Now, are you a collector of anything?
Not really. I pick up, something from whatever location I'm on. Like, in Indonesia, I got these statues carved from the same stone that Borobudur was carved from. And, in Thailand, I found a lore on the beach, a piece of volcanic glass, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess you'd say I have a collection of Buddhas and Shivas and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's not like they're on a shelf or stuff.
Right.
Just around there, around my house.
Gotcha. Is there a vast difference between acting in New York and acting in LA?
No, in New York, I just have a lot of family, so it's like, I got to see them on the weekend. But no, the job is the same. But I worked in China, and that's what I worked in Shenzhen, China. I worked in Moscow, Russia. I worked in Budapest, Hungary, and I worked in LA, and I worked in New York. And once you're on the set, it's like an independent pilot.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know the language, you know the language of film. You are aware that they still set lights, they still move the camera, they still change the lens,
Right.
they still block the scene. You don't have to know. I worked in Israel several times, and they're speaking Hebrew, and they're speaking Hungarian, and they're speaking Russian, and they're speaking Chinese, and it's like, but they're talking about the same stuff, and you understand.
Right. What are your current projects that you're working on, if you can tell us anything?
There's two right now. There's one that I'm producing. I'm going up to Sacramento to do, it's a little bit like, remember that series? You're young, actually, but there was a series called Then Came Bronson.
Yeah.
About this guy who kind of falls off, he jumps off the grid, and he's wandering around the country, and he's kind of doing good deeds. This is a little more violent. Stumble into a human trafficking organization, and I'm talking with the writer, and I said, we can't just kill the bad guys. We've got to give, when you rescue these people, what do you do with them? They're different. It's like they've been to war, and they're kids. You can't send them home and expect everything to be hunky-dory. You've got to point out that there are recovery groups. So anyway, it's about human trafficking, that one. And it's a small town. It's like a very small organization. And the one in Thailand and Malaysia is like on a global scale, but it's pretty much the same thing. But it's about kidnapping for political reasons.
Wow. Okay.
And then the one in Miami is that I'm producing with a partner of mine is a horror film.
Oh, okay.
So those are the next three things I'm doing.
All right. Fantastic. Do you have any big future goals that you've set for yourself?
Yeah, I want to get my name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I love that.
I want my star on Hollywood Boulevard.
That's fantastic. I love that goal.
But, if I could, like I say, if I could get a big movie contract, or if something big breaks, I get a TV series, I could put that in my contract, because you got to pay for it.
Right.
But you can't pay for it yourself. You have to be sponsored in, and I've done 5 television series. I've done 200 movies. Right. There's no doubt about it that I am I'm an actor.
Yes, I don't think anyone can deny that.
So I want my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Do we know how much a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame costs?
It changes every year.
Oh, does it?
It's not that much. That's $30,000.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's something that a network would give you for like a Christmas present. If they're happy with the show, that they
gotcha.
Sponsor that would be like a press opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can't ask for it. The manager would have to say, this would be a very much sweeter deal if you would do this for Michael.
Right.
But I can't say, all right, I'll do it, but give me my star. So that it's the same reason why actors need lawyers or agents or managers to make their deals. You just feel dirty negotiating money. We're not. It's probably why a lot of actors go broke, because somewhere along the line we're told that money is dirty and artists shouldn't deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Oh no,
yeah.
no. I'm an artist. I don't deal with money.
Yeah.
Until they get to be 65, and then it's like, why wasn't I counting my money?
Yeah. Right. How hard is it for an experienced actor who's done the training, who's doing the work, to land a decent agent?
I can't get a decent agent now.
Oh.
I was with all the bigs, and I've been bouncing from agent to agent for like 20 years.
Really? That surprises me.
They're good agents, but they're not powerful.
Oh.
It's like you need a powerful agent. A good agent, what's good? You want somebody who they take the agent's call.
Yeah.
And when you're being submitted because you would CAA or ICM or William Morris or UTA or a big management company, your picture gets put on the top of the pile.
Ah, okay.
You know, if your agent is submitting you with 10 other, you know, guys, white between 40 and 60, it's like, you know, that's going to go through that pile.
Right.
But if you're on, you know, if you're second or third in the CAA pile, then you look at that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
But any agent, any manager can submit you. But, you know, I just, you know, the people that I've worked with in the past call me directly.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's one in up at Sacramento. I was in 2 movies with this guy, and he called me up and says, Michael, what are you doing in March? And the one in Thailand, I did 3 movies with him. He says, Michael, I'm putting this together. Are you available? I said, yeah. And the one in Florida is the guy that I've known for like 3 years, and he's been trying to get a break as a writer. And finally, he put up his money, and he asked me to help him produce it. A manager, they might go, but if they're friends, you feel funny saying, oh, you got to talk to my lawyer now because you're friends, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's really the messy part of it. It's like, fuck, you know, I don't want to deal with it.
Right. It's awkward. All kinds of awkward.
That's the term.
Yeah. So here's a question that I ask everyone. Has nothing to do with acting.
Okay.
It's just because I'm curious and because it's one of my favorite things. What is your favorite type of cake?
Chocolate cake with the coconut on it or strawberry shortcake, but they can't be California strawberries because they grow too fast.
Okay.
Strawberries shouldn't be white on the inside. They should be red on the inside.
Yes.
I was working in Serbia. In Serbia, and I stopped on the side of the road and bought a kilo of strawberries, and they were like dark red all the way through. I ate half a kilo when I got back to my hotel. It was just like, oh my God. They're like, you know, the ones that the farmers pick, not the ones that are picked in one place and shipped somewhere.
Right.
You know, that's strawberries. They're as big as apples.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not really strawberry. That's like a genetic miracle.
Right.
I don't know how they do it.
The mutated
So
strawberry.
chocolate cake with the coconut on it, that's really nice too.
Do you bake cakes?
No, I'm not big on desserts. I'll make souffle. I'll make sabayon. I bake bread. I like to do that.
Oh.
I'm not big on the sugar stuff.
Now see, that's my weakness right there. Bread, fresh baked bread, still warm with slather a bunch of butter on it. It destroys me every time.
Yeah.
I cannot pass it up.
I know. I have to make 2 loaves of the baguette because I know I'm going to eat one before, you know, before anybody knows I'm done baking.
Yeah, I am right there with you.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about social media? It's a necessary evil, and I
I'm not good at it.
I don't like it, but you have to have it.
Yeah, but I don't. It's not helping me because I found I canceled several pages. Like there's a bunch of pages out there for Michael Pare, and it's not me. And then there's like 3 or 4 that I just don't. I can't remember the password for, so I started a new one.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I'm not good at it. And Instagram is great, but I don't know what to do with it. You know, it's an ego-driven thing, but it's business. You know, and they say, well, you have to get a manager, and then it's like, yeah, but you know, a social media manager. It's like, you know, they say, you know, the bigs are casting off of that, but that might explain why there's a lot of crappy actors out there. Because I worked with a guy who's like a social media giant, but he couldn't do 2 lines in a scene.
Yeah.
He'd only do 1 line at a time, and then he had to turn away and look at. I mean, while we're shooting, he would do the line, then he'd look at the script, and then he'd do the next line, and it's a scene with 5 people in it.
Yeah.
And because he was the lead, because he had this enormous social media following,
Yep.
you know, the other 4 people had all had careers in television. They were professional people, and here's this guy, absolutely no respect, consideration, and it's like, you know, I don't know. It's just like, how can you do that? How can you do that?
Yeah.
You'll be more concerned with your number of followers instead of what your real job is.
Yeah.
You know? They had no craft at all.
Really quick, just one little piece of advice that you can offer to the listeners, actors, up-and-coming actors. What's your advice?
Train. Hone your craft. Learn to love acting. You know, when you have those epiphanies, that's what will make you fall in love with acting. But you've got to train to get that epiphany. You know, when suddenly the scene works, you understand.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to focus. And the other thing is, don't memorize your lines. Read the script until you know the lines. Read it over and over and over and over and over. You know, in the beginning, I guess you can learn by rote, but now I don't memorize my lines. I read, you know, like this thing that I'm going to do in Thailand, I'm reading it at the one that's doing in Sacramento. I kind of co-wrote the story.
Yeah.
It's more of an action thing. It's not that much. There's going to be dialogue, but Anthony Hopkins says it this way also. He says he goes off to the desert and he reads the script in winter times.
Wow.
And you don't read it like a novel. You consume it. You consume it. You know?
Yes.
And if you're going to visualize, don't see yourself. See the other characters in the location.
Yeah.
Rehearse in your mind like a first-person shooter game. You see the other characters, hear their dialogue, you move like you're supposed to move. So train, and get into a class and perform.
I love it. Fantastic.
Okay?
Yes. Michael, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time.
Okay, madam.
All right. I will
Take
talk to you
care.
soon.
I hope we get to work together soon.
Oh, me too. Yes. Looking forward to it. All right. Thank you, Michael.
Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Big shout out to Kevin MacLeod over at Incompetech for our super slick theme song, Jet Fueled Vixen. And a big shout out to Michelle Lawson for our super amazing disclaimer.